Young Sheldon's 100th episode. What the show-shifting incident might be. The 100th episode of Young Sheldon will feature a show-shifting incident, and there are several possibilities of what the particular plotline might be. The Big Bang Theory spin-off's 5th season is down to its final stretch. But before the current year officially wraps up, Young Sheldon will celebrate a major milestone as it airs its 100th episode. And to commemorate this outstanding feat, the cast and crew prepared an exciting narrative that will include an arc that would change the overall trajectory of the sitcom moving forward. While Young Sheldon has a titular character, the Big Bang Theory offshoot has done a great job giving its core cast members their own narratives. Season 5, in particular, has been pushing for it, even sidelining Sheldon Ian Armitage to focus on the extended Cooper family. George, Lance Barber, started the year being conflicted by his growing attraction to Brenda Sparks, Melissa Peterman. Now, he also has to deal with work issues as George could be fired from his job as Medford High School's football head coach. Mary, Zoe Perry, and Missy, Reagan Reverd, both had a crush on the same guy. Georgie, Montana Jordan, dropped out of school and began working full-time, but also has a new girlfriend. Finally, Mima's Annie Potts, laundromat/gambling den, is thriving, but she's also nursing a broken heart after Dale, Craig T. Nelson, breaks up with her. Sheldon's adventures, on the other hand, have been mostly set in school. Coming into Young Sheldon's 100th episode, it seems like CBS is keeping this narrative approach. The episode titled A Solo Peanut, A Social Butterfly, and the Truth will have 3 prominent plot lines based on the official synopsis. And while the cast can't talk about spoiler specifics, all of them, including showrunner Steve Molaro, teased that Young Sheldon's 100th outing will have a show-shifting incident that will be integral in the sitcom's overall run. Based on what's known about Young Sheldon's milestone outing thus far, there are 3 potential possibilities for this. The official synopsis of Young Sheldon Season 5, Episode 7 confirms the return of McKenna Grace as Paige, Sheldon's fellow child prodigy and one-time crush. It's uncertain what leads to her appearance, but narrative information reveals that she will be asking Sheldon an odd favor. It's no secret that the pair's relationship has been complicated thus far. Sheldon doesn't like her because she's effortlessly smart and doesn't have the same social issues as he does. The fact that she doesn't seem to have any interest in competing with him makes him more infuriated. When her parents broke up, however, McKenna Grace's Young Sheldon character started rebelling, and Sheldon became more empathetic toward her. Though, since she humiliated him when he confessed his infatuation with her, he might not be as friendly when they reunite. In any case, considering the fact that Sheldon never talked about Paige on The Big Bang Theory, it's safe to say that they ultimately have a massive falling out. That could finally happen in Young Sheldon's 100th episode. It could also explain why he wasn't keen on dating anyone in the original series until Amy, Mayim Bialik, came along. Knowing full well that he isn't interested in playing football and continuing with his academics, Georgie decided to drop out of school in Young Sheldon Season 5. Despite intense opposition from his parents, George and Mary ultimately relented. Georgie has started helping Mima's laundromat/gambling den, where he met his new girlfriend, the 30-year-old Mandy. Things are well with them, except for one problem. Georgie lied about his age, claiming that he's 21 when he's really only 17 years old. The pair have been sexually active, and while Young Sheldon's 100th episode synopsis reveals that Georgie will come clean about this, it might be too late for them as Mandy could reveal that she's pregnant. There was barely any mention of Georgie's personal life on The Big Bang Theory, but he took care of the family since Mary was too grief-stricken to function. Assuming that this is the case, this experience would saddle Georgie with adult responsibilities and teach him an important lesson about being more careful with his actions because they have consequences. As difficult as this might be at the moment, it would help prepare him in taking over a much bigger task after George's inevitable death in Young Sheldon. Young Sheldon's 100th episode will also tackle the ramifications of Mima and Dale's unexpected breakup. After learning that her business is booming, Sheldon's grandmother decides she doesn't want to slow down as the money now allows her to do things that she wasn't able to before when she was financially strapped. Unfortunately, that isn't what Dale wants, as he's been actively looking to retire. Between Mima's successful venture and George potentially taking over his business, he sees it as the right time to finally push forward with his plan. But, because the couple has their respective ties to Mary and George, the Cooper parents will find themselves caught in the middle of the situation. This could be young Sheldon's way of setting up the eventual breakdown of George and Mary's marriage. The Big Bang Theory established that they had a tumultuous relationship, with Mary, Laurie Metcalf, not missing any opportunity to rag on her dead husband. But that hasn't been the case in the spin-off thus far, as their squabbles have been about small things. That said, Young Sheldon Season 5 has also planted a few plot seeds that could play into the destruction of George and Mary's relationship. Aside from George's attraction to Brenda, he also caught Mary having a fun time with youth pastor Rob, Dan Bird, on whom she has developed a crush. Interestingly, the Cooper patriarch hasn't brought that up, although it has continued to bother him. Motivated by Mima and Dale's relationship conflict, he might be forced to finally confront his wife about it, and depending on how Mary handles the situation, it could be the last straw for George in Young Sheldon. Considering the established timeline of events on The Big Bang Theory, he only has a couple more years to live, and 1 year before Sheldon catches him having sexual relations with another woman. To be able to properly tackle this sensitive topic, Young Sheldon needs to set up these series events as soon as possible.